Falls finishes July with more record-setting rainfall. Plus, how did the community respond to the flooding? We visit local business owners and the Montana State Fair to understand how they were impacted by this severe weather. And later, tense times in Anaconda as 4 people are dead following a Friday morning shooting at a local bar.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening and thanks for trusting KRTV for your 530 News. I'm Tim McGonigal. First tonight, well, if you thought you saw strobe lights outside your window last night, you weren't imagining things. Check out this video recorded last night. Flash flooding hitting Great Falls last night after intense thunderstorms rolled through the area, turning intersections into splash zones, leaving some drivers at a pause until the storm slowed down. The National Weather Service reported over an inch of rain in under an hour in some areas, but enough to trigger flash flood warnings across Cascade County. While the storms have quieted down going into today, some residents have noticed residuals left by heavy pooling and hail last night. For those curious to see if they should keep an umbrella close by tonight, Eric Johnson has our first forecast.
Good evening and happy Friday. Let's take a live look over in Helena right now. Quiet at the moment. We are going to see the chance for a couple of showers and storms this evening. Your temperature is sitting right around 77 degrees, so a pretty comfortable evening for us. We're warmer in Great Falls, 82. We're starting to see some storms pushing in from the south in Great Falls, so don't be surprised if you see some thunder and hear some lightning, and we could see some downpours. This is I-15 through the Dearborn near the Gary Cooper Bridge. You can see those very heavy downpours, that ponding on the roadways. That is going to be a possibility throughout tonight under some of those heavier showers and thunderstorms. We do have flood watches in place for most of central Montana, so we're going to see another wave of showers and thunderstorms similar to yesterday, and that could lead to some localized flooding throughout the evening and into the overnight. And we're already seeing a couple of warnings for severe thunderstorms in Fergus County, and then we've seen some very heavy rain over near the Rocky Mountain front today. We'll have a look at your future track coming up here in a few minutes.
Well, the flooding didn't just make a splash in the streets, it also hit the fairgrounds. Heavy rain and flooding forced organizers to move quickly last night, evacuating animals from the barn as the precipitation picked up at the state fair. Crews and volunteers worked together to keep all the visitors safe and dry, but it made for a chaotic night at what's usually the highlight of the summer. MTN's Anissa Coomer has the story from the fairgrounds.
Lightning, hail, and torrential rain. Great Falls was hit with a severe thunderstorm Thursday night. Among the areas hit the hardest was 3rd Street Northwest, which saw several inches of flooding. It also happens to be right where the Montana State Fair is taking place.
Last night was an extreme event. It just kind of blew up all of a sudden right over the top of us.
The carnival team tracks lightning using mobile apps, and the protocol is clear. When lightning gets too close, high rides are the first to go offline.
All of our management team has the ability to shut down the carnival. As soon as lightning got close and was a threat, we shut the high rides down, and we're going to make sure that our customers, our operators, our employees are not subject to adverse conditions.
Operations began winding down around 8:30 p.m. and by 10, carnival organizers decided to call it for the night. Meanwhile, at the livestock barns, organizers quickly moved animals to avoid the floodwater pooling near stalls.
We didn't have any issues. I thought it was all handled very well by ourselves and the fair.
With skies clearing by morning, fair crews and carnival teams are back at it, drying off equipment and preparing to welcome back visitors. In Great Falls, I'm Anissa Coomer, MTN News.
And with rain at a high this July, how were businesses and homeowners affected? Well, this summer season brought in some record-setting rain accompanied by hail, flooding, and severe thunderstorms. MTN's Quentin Shores went out to see firsthand how businesses are responding.
Great Falls was recently hit with heavy rainfall and hail in some areas. Join me in learning how local companies are recovering and maintaining their businesses.
And there was a river of water running through my business.
Michael Mattern, co-owner of 20 Past 4, was shocked when he was awakened from his sleep to learn that his store had flooded with rainwater.
It was nuts. It was crazy. So we got here slightly towards the end of the rainfall. It was starting to fill up pretty good, and all we had was snow shovels from the winter season. And we slung all the doors open and just started pushing everything out for about 2 hours.
Now, for those who aren't able to recover as easily, that's when you call in the professionals.
Especially with flood water, because it's so dirty, people don't realize it. Who knows where it's been, what it's contacted before it enters your house or your business. At that point, it's really good to get a professional involved so they can kind of advise you as to what's affected.
Organizations like ServPro have meters that can penetrate through drywall and wood to tell you how far the water has gone into your building. But there are also things you should be aware of within your own residence before calling in the big guns.
Checking sump pumps as well, making sure those are running properly. We run into a lot where someone hasn't looked at it for a while and you get these floods and it doesn't help pump it out. Good vapor barriers and stuff down in crawl space areas just to keep the groundwater in the ground. And if you can see your foundation, lots of cracks and stuff often let water in. So repairing those as much as you can or knowing that you have them.
One thing to be aware of is that a lot of our insurance policies in Montana do not cover flood water. We deal with insurance every day, so we can talk to them and kind of get to the bottom of the situation fairly quickly and kind of help out the homeowners. And also quick response, like don't let it just sit for days on end, because the quicker you can get the water out, the less saturated the materials will get, and they'll just dry out faster, be less likely to get mold and that kind of thing.
But if there's one thing that Great Falls has an abundance of, it's community resilience.
We got it recovered. We're open for business. So you guys stop on in, come check us out.
And if there was anything we could say to the flash flooding, it would be...
What do you want to say?
You stink.
Oh, yeah.
In Great Falls, I'm Quentin Shores, MTN News.
In Anaconda, 4 people are dead after a shooting this morning at a local bar. MTN's Megan Thompson has been following the story throughout the day and brings us the latest, including information on the suspected shooter.
It's a tragic day here in Anaconda after a mass shooting occurred at a local bar just behind me. Police are still investigating the incident, and we have heard that there are casualties. Police also say that they are still looking for the suspect.
The neighborhood's great. It's friendly. It's just a sad occurrence that happened this morning.
Jay Sturgar is a bartender at the JFK bar located just a block away from the Owl Bar where the shooting took place. Jay says he was on his way to work when he saw a man with a rifle outside the Owl Bar.
I did see the gentleman that probably did the shooting. I watched him come out of his house with a rifle in his hand.
Multiple law enforcement agencies are on the scene of the shooting. In a press release, Butte Silver Bow County Sheriff Ed Lester is confirming that there are multiple fatalities. The suspect in the incident is Michael Brown, age 45, of Anaconda. Neighbors tell me that he lives right next door to the Owl Bar.
I know everybody involved. The fella that supposedly did the shooting has had mental issues for a long time, and something in him today just snapped, and it's just a bad deal that happened.
Police are reporting that Michael Brown is still at large and is believed to be armed and extremely dangerous. The suspect is driving a 2007 white Ford F-150 and was last seen on Stumptown Road west of town.
I just wish our community would bind together and pray for everybody involved and their families, and keep our heads up because we have a great community.
Police are asking the public to call law enforcement immediately if anyone spots the suspect or his truck. In Anaconda, Megan Thompson, MTN News.
Coming up, a husband and wife gain national recognition for their restaurant. And later, dozens of young musicians from all over the state get ready for this year's Montana Youth Symphony performance in Billings.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
A Great Falls restaurant is getting national attention. A family affair owned by a husband and wife team will be featured on the YouTube program America's Best Restaurants. MTN's Justin Robichaud met with the duo to learn more about what's on their menu for their time in the spotlight.
A family affair restaurant, a very popular place here in Great Falls. And in mid-August, America's Best Restaurants will recognize them nationally. They're going to do a segment on them for their excellence.
It's pretty neat, you know, it's validation that we're doing what we do.
Co-owner Jonathan Scott says America's Best Restaurants made contact with them.
Months ago, they gave us a call, and we went back and forth a few times, and you know, we decided to go ahead with having them come visit.
Film production will take place at the restaurant.
They'll do some video out here just of the shop, and then I'll have 3 different dishes, and they'll do a little tasting and, maybe some interview about the food and how we're making it.
After many years away, returning to Montana is a homecoming.
My wife and I decided to move back to town. She grew up here, and we came back to be around her folks, be a little closer to them and to family, and we had this great opportunity and we jumped on it.
Personal relationships with customers is key.
We know when they're having surgery, and we know how the grandkids are, and it's important. It's busy in here, as you can see, but we take the time to get to know people.
Food is made from scratch with much care, along with a joyful attitude.
We try to make sure things are made homemade and with love, and service with a smile. And
Teamwork drives the restaurant to success.
the fact that John and I are here working side by side with our employees, they kind of know our expectations, and some would say mine are really high. And so I think, that just helps, and everybody buys in.
As for what Family Affair restaurant will show for a dish to America's Best Restaurant, that's still up in the air.
It's a game time decision.
In Great Falls, Justin Robichaux, MTN News.
The Montana Youth Symphony is returning to Billings this weekend, bringing talent from across the state. It's music to the ears as dozens of young musicians from all over the state get ready for this year's performance. MTN's Vanessa Willardson talks to the violinist and Helena cellist leading their groups in the orchestra.
Violinist Rosie Weiss has been playing since she was 3 years old.
The story goes that my father learned about this thing called Suzuki method, and he's like, oh, that'd be cool, and I hear, you gotta start really young kids. And then he heard that you should start when you're 2, and so then he was like, oh no, like it's already too late, right? Too late, but no, we got started, and I was 3, and yeah, I took off with it.
Weiss has a long list of accomplishments, including playing in the National Youth Orchestra, where Joshua Bell was a soloist.
I joked that was like the peak of my career when I was 16.
But you can add another accomplishment to the list. At the age of 28, she is now the concertmaster for this year's Montana Youth Symphony, which will be performing on Sunday. At 60 musicians, it's the largest group the Youth Symphony has ever featured. Even though Weiss resides in Boise, Idaho, she considers Billings her hometown.
About a year ago, I moved to Boise, but I still play with the Billings Symphony. I'm assistant concertmaster of the Billings Symphony, so once a month I fly over from Boise.
While the concert will be held in Billings, musicians come from all over the state to be a part of it, including one soloist from Helena.
Charles Snellman won his division in the biennial Young Artists competition in January, which led him to getting selected for a cello solo in the symphony.
It's a little nerve-wracking sometimes, but it's a beautiful piece and I can't wait to perform it.
Charles Snellman has played the cello for almost 10 years, since he was in 4th grade.
I just fell in love and loved the cello. I loved everything about symphony music. It just inspired me so much.
He says playing alongside his ambitious peers, which range from ages 16 to 30, has been an incredible experience.
It's really, really inspiring to perform with people who have already gone off to college, people that are still in high school, people that are even in graduate school.
If you would like to watch these 2 musicians perform on Sunday with the symphony, you can find details about tickets on ktvq.com. In Billings, Vanessa Willardson, MTN News.